And we are back.
Yeah,
Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Badminton Experience. Feels very good to say that again after a short break.
another short break, but it's
Another,
great to be back.
it is great to be back. We only come back for occasions like this.
Yeah, yeah, I almost feel like the last time we did it, I know that's not true, but I feel like the last time we did it was after you won Korea Open, and now we're here. You just won Malaysia Open, so let's make it
Exactly.
a nice tradition that you just win tournaments every week, and we'll be back every week.
And then I'll don't have to do any media other than just our own little platform here.
That's a great
So
plan. That's a great plan.
So that's super convenient. So every time journalists call me and want me to say something, I'm just referring to the Badminton Experience.
Yeah, that would be great. We also need a
All
bit of more exposure because like our views went down a little bit in the latest episode, so we need to pop them up a little bit again.
yeah, but I guess it comes with consistency and then also having some Indonesian players on the podcast.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah,
Then our numbers will skyrocket once again.
yeah. But we are
But
still very happy for everyone that's watching. That's for sure.
one 100%. Um, And I've actually, I mean, I've been around a lot lately. Been
Mm,
out here in Asia, traveling around. Also been in Australia, and I meet so many people in the different clubs
mm,
where I'm practicing, and they always ask for the next episode of the Badminton Experience, or when is the next vlog coming out, or are you making a vlog from Australia or
mm,
Singapore, Malaysia, whatever. And it really hurts to get those questions because I was like, I probably not.
mm.
I'm
Yeah,
probably not
yeah,
going to
yeah.
do anything at all. Even though I really want to. So yeah, I miss doing content. So I'm glad that we are back here with another episode 53. And
55, 55.
sorry, 55. And to everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in to the Banter Experience. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it.
Mm.
But Hans Christian, what are we going to talk about?
First, we are gonna talk about you, Anas. Like, I haven't experienced anything interesting for anyone to hear about, but obviously you're a super 1000 champion. You just won Malaysia Open, so we have to hear everything about that. So first of all, I know I already sent you a text, but I want to congratulate you so all our viewers also know that I did that. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of the guy who's walking around in the background as well. You're a coach and my good friend Yuqi Pearson as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was amazing to sit there and yeah, watch you win yesterday. It was emotional also to watch like your interviews and everything. So I'm very happy to sit here and be able to ask you lots of questions because yeah, I want to hear everything about it. So first of all, just tell me, how does it feel to be a Super 1000 champion?
Hmm. Thank you so much. You are the only journalist that I'm talking to these days, so you should be very honored. I'm
I
not
am.
I'm not responding to anyone except you. No, I mean, yeah, it is it's difficult to comprehend, to be honest.
Mm,
I said it right after the in the post match interviews that I was kind of like in shock. I did not know what I was feeling at the moment. It wasn't like I was super happy or super emotional. I was just kind of like I was gone mentally.
mm,
I was kind of like in shock. I think that's
mm.
the best word that I could use to describe it. But obviously, super happy. I'm extremely proud to. Yeah, everyone keeps talking about the injury and the tough times that I had
Mm.
in 2022, and this comeback is incredible. So I feel like I mean, it's been more than 1 year since I had those injuries, so it's in the past now. I played a bunch of tournaments in 2023, so I got back to consistency. I got back to a pretty good level last year, but I wanted obviously to step it up here for 2024. So I came into this year with completely different expectations compared to 2023. But I mean, I already exceeded all my expectations for the year here in the very first tournament. So it's the sad part is that it's only downhill from here.
Yeah, that's true. Also because you won most of your matches pretty convincingly, so you can't hardly do it any better in the upcoming events. Yeah, I was also expecting maybe like a bigger celebration when you won, because like the one you did in the was it the semifinal or no
Quarterfinal.
quarterfinal, yeah, after Naraoka, it was like a pretty crazy celebration. But did you almost like win too convincingly in the final to really make it a huge celebration?
Yeah, I would say so.
Hmm.
I guess the reason why why the celebration was the way it is was the way it was in the quarterfinal was also because it was a very difficult and tough match.
Hmm.
And as everyone knows, me and Kodai has played so many times lately, and we always have these tough encounters. So it meant a lot to
Hmm.
lose the first game, play a tough second game, and then play a phenomenal third game. And yeah, so it was just a very very nice experience to
Hmm.
get the quarterfinal win.
Hmm.
Also having in mind the way I lost the last time in China Masters. I don't know if you remember. I had a like a 100% chance, I would
Yeah.
almost say, at the net after playing 1 hour and 50 minutes, and I missed it and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
very very good to get that revenge,
Hmm.
and therefore the celebration. But as you mentioned, both in the semifinal and in the final, I won the second game pretty convincingly, and
Hmm.
it just didn't really make sense to make like a huge celebration. I was actually pretty mad at Shi Yuqi in the final for flicking on my match point. He made a flick serve and it went out of on the baseline.
Yeah.
Pretty boring way to win the final point, I would say.
It's
Um,
cooler to like make a jump smash on the line or like a trick shot or something cool instead.
exactly, and I was really thinking about that from, let's say, when I had 18 or something. I was like,
Okay.
so many times during practice sessions or just in my everyday life, I have been daydreaming about these moments where it's just about to happen. I mean,
Hmm.
imagine
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
if this is going to happen.
Mhm.
And I was kind of like thinking about that. I mean, that final shot or that final
Yeah.
rally, that feeling of like playing that rally, knowing that it's going to happen just in a few seconds
Yeah.
or in a few minutes. So I was super excited for these last few points.
Yeah.
How are they going to play out? Is it going to be that perfect net shot or that perfect smash that I've been practicing for like countless hours
Yeah.
throughout my whole life? And then I won on like a two on a flick serve that was too long.
Yeah. You didn't even have to hit a shot at all. Like you just had to leave it. Did it like?
I considered for a second just playing it.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that if you actually considered just playing it over, but if you ended up losing, that would also be like a pretty bad decision.
Yeah, no. I never
No.
really considered that.
No.
I think it was the right thing just to get it over.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. To me, I think also that like quarterfinal, to me, it makes sense what you're explaining because for me, watching from the outside, I didn't really talk to you during the week or anything, but to me, that also seemed like the key match for you in the tournament where, like, in some ways, for me, I think we saw a little bit different Anders because for me, that match reminded me a bit of the match from the World Championships that you played a really tough first game. I know it was closer in the World Championships, but it was really tough in terms of the physical part. And I felt like in the second game at the World Championships, I wouldn't say you gave up, but you maybe let go just a little bit mentally because it's very tough after playing for almost an hour in the first game to have the energy and like convince yourself that you can do it for another 1 hour or 70 minutes or whatever. But
Yeah.
I felt like in this match, you really showed, even though the second game was still tough, that you stayed in it. You were not going to give anything away. And from the midpoint of that second game, I felt like it was actually you who were the stronger one physically, because you were the one that was able to do the change of pace, where he was just playing the same game over and over again, but you were being a bit more aggressive. You were actually changing the pace and being again at the start of the third game as well, much more aggressive than him. So I had that feeling that it was a little bit of a change compared to before, where I felt like he was maybe draining you of energy, and at the end of this match, it felt like he was the guy that couldn't really like just imagine being in the right state of mind and just keep fighting and stuff. Do you
Yeah.
agree with that analysis? Or
Yeah. I know exactly what you're saying, and I agree 100%. If we go back to the World Championships, I lost the first game in, let's say, 42 minutes or something. Crazy tough game, and I was like that close of winning it. And I also believe I was playing against the drift, maybe a little bit. But you're absolutely right. At that time, I was like, I mean, the first game was 42 minutes. So if that was to continue, I was looking into like an insanely long match. And I couldn't really chop it up into pieces at that time. I was just seeing this like, this is unimaginable that I'm going to get through this. But I think I've grown so much mentally and physically since then. I think when I actually learned a lot from watching the final at the World Championships just the day after, where Kunlavut also lost the first game, and I think that was even longer, maybe like 45 minutes. But then he just said, "Okay, then let's run," and then he just ran and ran and ran and ended up winning a long 3-game match. So I was under the assumption that that's not possible. It's not possible to lose such a tough game and then come back. But Kunlavut showed me the day after that it's absolutely possible. So I think I learned a lot from watching that match, actually, that I needed to be stronger in my mindset. And I think I already showed improvements last time when I faced him in China.
Yeah.
Obviously, I defeated him in Japan. That was the next time we played against each other. The World Championships.
Play against each other all the time.
All the time. There must be something wrong with the drawing system, but we have been talking about that plenty of times. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's almost embarrassing. It's the same draws every single time, but what can you do about it? Anyways, I defeated him then in Japan. We played a very tough first game, and I won it. And I was like, now it's roles reversed. Let's see if you can handle that. And I'm not sure if he succeeded because I won in straight games. But then we faced each other in China. Same again. I lost this time 21-19 in a very tough first game. But I stayed in it throughout the second game, just took one rally at a time, even though it was a tough one to swallow to lose that first game. So and then I won the second game, and it was very close in the third game as well. So I think I showed improvements from the World Championships to both the Japan and also the China Masters in terms of my mental strength, and that's all also what we saw here last week in Malaysia.
Is that improvement in your mental approach? Does that also come from you knowing that you're in better shape now, or do you feel like you were in the same physical condition back at the World Championships as you are now?
I guess my physical condition is it's close. I'm not sure if I have improved like crazy since the World Championships, because I was also in phenomenal shape at the World Championships as far as I remember. So
I think that's interesting to hear, because you hear it a lot from the commentators, both from the Danish commentators, but also from Sten and Jill, that like everyone is saying like you look like you're in better shape and stuff. But but from what I'm hearing, it's just as much how you approach it up here that makes it also look like you're maybe in better shape, because you're not
Mm.
thinking about this is going to be hard and this is going to be a long match and stuff, but you're just approaching it a bit differently, and that shows in like the body language and everything. So it's quite interesting to hear that your own experience is that you're maybe at the same physical level as back then.
Maybe I'm a bit better physically as well. But
Mm,
mentally for sure, I've become a lot stronger.
mm,
I take great pride in trying to be as tough as possible these days. I don't want to break ever again,
mm,
even though that's impossible. But I feel very, very good physically and mentally. I've like turned over a new leaf, I
mm.
would say, if that's the right expression.
It's a saying in Danish. I don't know if you can use it in English, but yeah, let's just go
I
with it. So
I really hope you can. I think you can. Anyways,
yeah.
but of course, my confidence in my physique comes from the hard work that I have been putting in
Mm,
for ever since my injury. Ever
mm,
since I went independent, I have been focusing on my physique
mm,
more than ever before. It has always been a priority for me. I mean, growing up, I was a small kid
mm,
playing against the older guys because I was quite good, but I was small for my age group, and then on
mm,
top of that, I was playing with the older guys.
mm,
And when I arrived on the senior level, I was I was I was only able to compete because of my badminton skills,
mm,
technical and
mm,
tactical skills. So I've always had some catching up to do with the physical stuff. But I would say that the last 12, 14 months since my injury, I've been
mm,
working extremely hard on that part, and
mm,
that shows for sure. It
mm,
doesn't. It's not only shows in the matches, but also the way I am able to recover in between matches.
mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here the day after the Malaysia Open tournament, and I'm basically I feel amazing.
Mm. Yeah,
So yeah,
that's not the Arnas I know from the past that could like sometimes I would say barely walk normal after a yeah long
exactly.
tough tournament.
And also after the World Tour finals,
Mm,
I was kind of like fearing that the World Tour finals would be such a crazy tough event that it would
mm,
require like 7 to 10 days to recover from.
yeah.
But I was absolutely fine after that event. And
Mm,
also, I won 2 matches in straight games and lost 2 matches in straight games. None of them was
mm,
like extremely exhausting.
mm,
So very happy to get out from that tournament alive
yeah,
as well. Of
yeah.
course, there's certain parts of the body that needs a bit of rest now.
Mm,
But like in my muscles and stuff,
yeah.
overall, it feels very good.
Mm. Do you think in like some ways in terms of the physical part, like in Malaysia, there was a lot of drift. So if you compare it to, for example, the World Tour finals, where it's much slower conditions, like does that take away some of the like the physical drain on your body, or like didn't you really consider
Hmm.
that?
Um, I would say let's take a match like the one I played against Kodai in China, where
Mm,
we played for 1 hour and 51 minutes, I believe.
mm.
Um,
And that's very slow conditions, right?
that was very slow conditions, and we played these rallies where it was just like clear, 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 drop,
Mm,
short at the net, lift, clear, clear, clear. I mean,
mm,
of course, I mean, your pulse gets quite high during these rallies, and over time your legs will start to burn and stuff. I expected to be much more tired after that match the day after, and much more
mm,
sore in the muscles and stuff. But I actually wasn't
mm,
sore at all. Of course, I could feel like my quads were a bit like drained the day after, but they weren't sore in the way that I expected them to be.
mm,
Uh, and then let's say I faced Lee Sijia in the first round in Japan, where
mm,
I won in straight games. after a match like that, I was much more sore in
Mm.
my glutes and in my hamstring and in my adductors and stuff.
Mm.
Because the way he plays with the smashes that he's able to produce and stuff, you'll just have to twist and turn your body and stretch
Yeah.
your body in the lunges and stuff in a way that you don't do when you just do long clear rallies. You
Mm.
stay quite high
Yeah.
in your stance, because
Yeah.
Kodai is not known for having like this crazy steep attack or stuff like that.
Mm.
So
So it's a lot
yeah,
more explosive when you play in against TCG in that example, and I guess also in Malaysia, like here, where it's not rallying in the same way as it is in some of the slower arenas.
no, but it's just very different. I mean, that's a
Mm.
match against Kodai is very challenging on like the stamina, the fitness. I
Mm.
mean
Mm.
the durability.
Mm.
Whereas a match against Shi Yuqi or Li Sijia, and in windy conditions is tough in a different way, because you need to be very explosive over and over and over again.
Mm.
When it's very difficult to control the lifts, you
Mm.
need to be very aggressive to the front court, and then you just need to be very explosive. So it's very like repetitive with
Mm.
these like fast movements all the time,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
it might not be draining in the same way, but it's tough just in another way.
Mm. Yeah.
But I mean, men's single is tough. There's no way around it.
No.
Even if it's slow conditions, fast conditions, it always ends up being tough in one way or the other.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Now you mentioned the Shi Yuqi yourself. I want to talk a bit about that final, because I know before the final you also, I think you called yourself the underdog in that match in an interview. Um, and like obviously the entire week you played amazing. You lost that one game against Kodai, but apart from that, you were very convincing in all your matches and all the games. Also the two you won against Kodai. So like, why did you see yourself as the underdog in that match? And also like, what do you think made the difference to why you then managed to beat him so convincingly?
I mean, maybe I was just trying to like downplay my chances a little
Mm.
bit, take the pressure off. Um,
Yeah.
but also, I mean, statistically, head to head, I guess he's up, maybe like 4-2 before this encounter, and one of the times that I have defeated him was where he twisted his ankle quite early in the first game. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, on paper, I was definitely the underdog. But
You
I
didn't
knew that
necessarily feel like that when you went on court.
I felt like every other match, like
Mm.
this is one where if I play my absolute best, I might have a chance. But
Mm.
it's also very possible that I get my ass absolutely kicked in this match.
Mm.
And I really feel that every single time I went on court this week. Like,
Mm.
I know that every one of these opponents has the ability to make me look like a clown on court if
Mm.
they are at their absolute best. So I actually feel like it's a good mindset for me to have, because it
Mm.
really keeps me focused. Like I have so much respect for every player
Yeah.
at this point. When I'm facing Koki in the second round, for instance, I'm like, this is a guy that he might as well win this tournament. I mean,
Mm.
I know that he hasn't done that on the highest level, but I'm like, he might as well win this tournament.
Mm. Mm.
So I'm taking him that serious, and I do that with everyone these days, because
Mm.
I faced Weng Hong Yang in the first round in Finland, and I told Joachim, this is like a world class player. He might as well win this tournament. He
Mm.
didn't, because I defeated him, but he won the Denmark Open the week after.
Mm. Yeah.
And there was another
It's
one of
just to me,
these.
it sounds like you have a healthy amount of respect for everyone you play. But I think the key in what you're saying is that you still go on court every time, believing that if you play your best, you can win. Because it can also turn over that you have like too much respect, and that will maybe affect your own belief in your possibilities of winning. But it sounds like you have, on one hand, a lot of respect, and the other hand, you still have the belief that, but if I play my best, I also have the potential to like win every match or even win the tournament at the end.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like yeah, I think you're
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
It's I think I have a good balance of really
Mm.
respecting the opponent, but
Mm.
also believing in my own abilities.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right about that. I mean,
It's interesting.
the men's single field is so good at the moment. There's so many good players. Obviously, Victor is still on top. But there's, I mean, everyone
Mm.
can win these titles these days, and
Yeah.
that's also one of the reasons why I'm so proud to win
Mm.
one of these major titles. There's only 4 of these Super Thousands every year, so
Yeah.
the way men's single is these days with so many great players, I'm even more proud to claim a title at this moment.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, it's impossible to say basically who's number two. Like, if Victor loses early in a tournament, it's not like you can point at one guy and say like he's the favorite to win. Now it can be, I should say, anyone. But like, what do you feel like in? Yeah, you can interrupt.
No, I was just about to mention, I think Kodai was number 2 in the world. I think he is number 2 in the world this week, but I think he'll drop down. I just saw like a predicted ranking
Yeah,
before
yeah.
this. I think he will drop down to number 5. So it's
Mm.
so close from number
Yeah.
2 down to number 6 of something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. But yeah, just going back to that final against the Shi Yuqi. So what do you feel like made the difference? Like, why did you manage to beat him so convincingly? He just played amazing the day before when he beat Victor. That was like a really good performance. I think he played even better than when he beat him at the World Tour Finals, because I think he played against a better version of Victor compared to at the World Tour Finals in that group stage match. So like, yeah, what was like your mindset going into the match, and like, yeah, how did you handle both sides of the court against him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the key to my success this week. That I was playing very good when I was playing with the drift.
Mm.
Obviously, the difficult side. Yeah, we saw so many players struggling on that side because they were playing the lift and the clears out of the baseline. So yeah, I think I was able to handle that very well. It comes down to awareness. It comes down to the way you like approach the net, how high you can reach the shuttle at the net, but also comes down to like technical skills, being able to play the lift and the clears in a way where they stay in. If you play them like very flat, they tend to just fly out. If you play them a bit higher, they tend to maybe stay in. So
But it's also about like, if you play those higher ones, that you don't play them too slow, because if you play them too slow, you will also be vulnerable in your defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. It becomes like a very tactical game, where it's really about keeping the mistakes away, even though you are under a great amount of stress from the drift, the speed of the shuttlecock, and the opponent on the other side. You'll also have to have his strengths in mind. Obviously, it's totally different playing against Kodai and then playing against Lin Chunyi the day after. I mean, polar opposites when it comes to their strengths. And then Shi Yuqi is like obviously an absolute world class player, and he is good on every aspect of the game. Also, a player I feel like is very good in windy conditions, and that was also one of the reasons why I saw myself as an underdog. I know that I've been performing well in windy conditions before, but I know that he's also very good at it. But yeah, but back to why I succeeded in general, I feel like I played the difficult side with the drift very well this week. I obviously I also made mistakes on that side, but maybe less than the others.
Yeah. Do you feel
And
like you
then
also? Yeah.
And then I feel like I become a bit better at playing on the against the drift actually as well.
In what way?
I have often played quite well on the difficult side, playing with the drift, and then I have had like difficulties with adapting to playing against the drift. Like, how hard can you really push the lifts and the clears?
Mm.
Sometimes it also becomes a bit like you become a bit too laid back when you're
Yeah.
playing against the drift, because you might get into the mindset that, okay, now I can play the baseline,
Mm.
so I'm just going to do that, and
Mm.
then you become too passive.
Yeah.
And then against a guy like Shi Yuqi, his attack is so dangerous. So if you just become too laid back and just play the baseline without any like without any movement towards the shuttle at the net, if you're not like stepping into the shuttle and pushing the lifts very, very hard, his attack is so good
Mm.
that he can get it down on you. And also when he is attacking from that side with the drift, the smashes is just coming a little bit harder. So yeah, stuff like that. I don't want to give everything away. Um,
It's fair enough.
but obviously it's very, very much a strategic game when there's
Mm.
this much drift, and I find it super funny, to be honest.
Mm.
I was happy that it was the same throughout the whole tournament almost this
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
Whereas when we played at the World Tour Finals, it was certain conditions the first 3 days, and then we got into the semifinals day, me versus Victor, and it was just like the slowest shuttlecocks that I've ever played with. Um, and
Worse
I
than
mean,
in
not
Bali.
um, I remember
Uh,
Bali as well
uh,
as being extremely slow.
uh,
But this one was definitely up there.
yeah.
It was one of those where you are like, oh my God. I actually heard Victor turn around to his coach when we were warming up and said
Yeah.
something like, "It's insanely slow."
Yeah. Okay.
And
Okay.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
So I think that's.
I
I
don't
mean,
think that's what you want to experience when you play against a guy like Victor,
no, but I mean, I
necessarily.
know
Yeah.
I know I lost with 14-9, but I was
Mm.
like, okay, if it's going to be one of those where we're going to run, then let's
Yeah.
try that.
Mm.
I think the issue during that match was not my physical abilities, it was
Mm.
my ability to keep it
Mm.
in play. I was simply
Yeah.
making too
Yeah.
many mistakes, and obviously that might be because Victor is so dangerous that you are forced to play
Mm.
really, really close to the lines all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was nice for once that we did not show up for the semifinal or the final, and then suddenly everything that we had planned from back home, all the
Mm.
strategic stuff, we could just throw that out of the window. And no, here it was the same. So that was nice for once.
I almost, and I have to underline that I say almost felt a little bit bad for Shi Yuqi because, like, first of all, he just beat Victor in a really, nice performance, and then there's another Dane in the final, and he already had a tough Dane in the first round. He played a long, hard 3-game battle against Gemke as well. So, like, I
Mm.
almost felt bad for him that he didn't get the title, but yeah, I think
Yeah,
in the final, to me, one of the key things as well was just in general that you played faster than him. So I didn't feel like at any point in the game he was in control of the front of the game. You mentioned it a little bit as well. It's about like who can reach it a little bit higher, and I felt like on both sides of the net when you were playing that you were always the guy dictating what was going to happen on the front of the court. You decided if you wanted to play net with him, or you decided when you were going to play like baseline. He was never really, the guy dictating anything.
but that's one thing that I feel like he's very, very good at, is dictating from the net.
Yeah, I agree.
He has so many disguise in the way he plays his strokes at the net.
Yeah,
He makes you like start stop all the time in your movements, and
I still have nightmares of how he did that to me in Australia a long time ago. His
Mm.
backhands, when he goes up with his backhand like
Yeah.
this, I feel like he can do anything, and he has this like
Mm.
stop one, but he can also like push it down the straight down the line.
Yeah.
So I never know what to do against him
And
in that
and he
quarter.
and he also has those abilities from the baseline as well. I mean, the way he makes
Mm.
this stop drop,
Mm.
it's very, very disguised. It's difficult to see. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
last time I
and
played against him in France, I also lost convincingly in straight games. So I guess
yeah,
that was
yeah.
also why I saw him as the favorite going into the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, honest, it was great to hear a bit about all the crazy matches. I think do one more question about it though. Do you feel like this is like the best you've performed over a full week? So like I know you won the World Tour Finals back in, was that 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you feel like this is the because that's what I feel like, it's the most consistent I've ever seen you perform for like a full week at this level. So like you performed consistently before, but I just felt like every single match this week was absolutely world class level. Yeah, for like the full matches, 5 days in a row as well. Because
Yeah.
also if you
Yeah.
sorry I interrupted, but so, like also if you compare it to like the World Championships when you made the final back in Basel, it's like this. It's maybe not like absolute world class opponents in every single match. Where in this tournament you play three guys ranked top 10, and as you say, like the general level is just it's players who can win the tournament basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely say so. The only set that might not was, I would maybe say the first game against Kodai could have
Mm,
been a little bit better, but it wasn't horrible either. I
mm,
mean,
mm,
when you're playing against the world number two, I mean, what can you expect? I mean, he's also trying to dictate what's going on the court. So, but
mm,
maybe I made a few mistakes here and there during that first game, but from there, I would say it was very very solid throughout the whole tournament. The first
mm,
two matches, I'm super proud about those two as well.
mm.
Um, yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
very very happy with it. It wasn't really like, I mean, you saw different versions of me
Mm,
during this tournament. So this narrative of me being like suddenly a very very physical player, able to run for a long time. I showed that in the quarterfinal against Kodai. But then I showed very very different aspects of my game in the other matches, especially the semifinal and the final, where it was much more about the speed and the
mm,
tactical stuff. Um, of course, along with stamina.
mm.
So yeah, I think I showed like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
called
makes
myself.
sense.
I think I said to Joachim, I want to be like a hybrid. I want to be able to do everything.
Yeah.
We have the engine that can run a long time, but we also like smart thinkers that can play
Mm,
strategic badminton,
mm.
attacking badminton, or
Super
whatever.
aggressive. Yeah.
I yeah, I said in the post match interview after I played against Kodai, because you know me and Kodai, we get into these rallies where we clear a lot, and the fans started to boo a little bit, and
Mm,
they weren't that excited about it. And I said that it's not, I mean, it's not necessarily the way I want to play badminton either. You don't
mm,
see me play those types of rallies really against anyone else. But I
mm,
mean, you gotta do what you
mm.
gotta do in order to win. But I'm glad
Yeah.
that I showed other skills also in that match,
Mm,
but also in the match following, because
mm,
I know it's not super entertaining, and I'm also part time here to entertain. I think that's super fun as well. So
mm.
yeah, hopefully I gave the crowd a bit to cheer about.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I think you had pretty good support. I think Shi Yuqi had better support actually in the final. But I
Yeah,
think that's
I've
like a big part of the Malaysians that are like of Chinese descent as well. So yeah, it makes sense that
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I think you're right. When the umpire called out our names on my left side, on my right side,
Mm,
I think he got a bigger round of
mm.
applause
But
than
you
me.
won them over. You won them over.
I turned them over, hopefully.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Malaysia. Let me just say that. I'm
Mm,
still here in KL. I spent a few weeks in KL leading up to
mm,
the World Tour finals as well. Wow, I mean, now that I think about it, I feel like we have so much to talk about. I've been experiencing so much the last 3 months. I haven't been in Denmark. I've been all over the place. But I think we can take that in an upcoming episode.
mm. Yeah.
Anders' Asia trip or something like that.
Let's do that for sure. I just want to hear about one more thing before I let you go and
Yeah,
do whatever you're gonna do. If you're gonna do anything, maybe just relax and go party and
just relaxing.
yeah,
I have become super boring in my older days. I said that in the interview yesterday as well.
yeah.
They asked me how I was going to celebrate, and I said back in the days it would be like
Mhm.
smoking a cigar or drinking some
Mhm.
alcohol or whatever. But nowadays it's basically just eat a good dinner and then go home and
Yeah,
sleep. That's all I want to do.
yeah. So now it's okay to call you boring, like you called me and Victor boring back in the days.
Yes, it is. I mean I'm kind of like disappointed in myself.
For being so
But
boring. Yeah,
I've become so boring in my older days.
that's fair enough.
I'm only 26 though, but I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, I've transitioned into like a
Yeah.
real mature adult.
I think that's
No.
cool, Anas. You're like almost ready for a family. No, the final thing I
No, no,
just want
no.
to hear is like you almost said it yourself at the start. It can only go down from here for the year, but like what's next for you? Like what's the goal from here?
So yeah, I think I have become a very, very addicted to trying to get better. I'm constantly seeking to improve
Mm.
when it comes to my physical abilities, my badminton technical tactical skills, and also my mental toughness, if you can
Mm.
say that.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I have become kind of like a maniac when it comes to these things. Just as mentioned yesterday, I had a good dinner.
Mm.
I had a few sips of some white wine, but then I went home, watched the match, went to sleep. I woke up early. I went down to breakfast. I had my little kitchen I was weighing the rice. I was weighing the eggs. I've become like a maniac when it comes to
Mm.
these things. I want to do everything as good as I can, and I want to see how good can I become at this game.
Mm.
So I guess that's it. But another thing that
Yeah.
I feel like I have also realized is like, and I talked to Joachim, my coach, about that prior to the final. I guess what we wanted to do was just remove a bit of the nerves and the pressure from yeah, going into the match.
Mm.
And what I realized is that the really, really exciting thing is it's not the price check or moving on the world ranking or the Instagram likes or whatever. What's
Mm.
really, really, really exciting to me is being in there on the court in the moment.
Mm.
I'm I'm 100% certain that I'm going to miss that so much the day that I retire.
Mm.
That excitement of being in those situations, playing at the highest level. Experiencing something at the absolute highest level. I feel like that must be so unique, and it's
Mm.
something that I really doubt that I'm going to experience once I retire from badminton, because it
Mm.
takes 20 years to get
Mm.
to that level in whatever you do, I guess. So I
Mm.
don't know if I have the time to ever become world class at another occupation after my badminton, or if I have the drive to do it.
Mm.
But yeah, I told myself also during that second game when I started to get a bit tense and nervous in the end, like feel it right now. Try to
Mm.
enjoy it right now. Be present in the moment. It doesn't get much more. It doesn't get funnier than right now.
Mm.
Right after it's nice, the prize ceremony, the money, as mentioned, the Instagram likes, all the
Mm.
attention, and people texting me
Mm.
congratulations and stuff. That's all very, very nice. But
Mm.
my life is totally the same just the morning after.
Right.
As mentioned, I ate the same for breakfast. I don't know what I will do with the price check. It doesn't change anything to me. So what's very valuable to me is trying to get as many of those experiences as
Mm.
possible while I can. So I guess the answer to your question. That's next. Trying to improve as much as I can. I'm addicted to it. I think it's so interesting and so funny. And then try to get as many experiences playing badminton at the absolute highest level as possible.
I think that's an amazing answer, Anders.
Thank you so much, Hans Christian.
I think we should just wrap it up with that. He
I
also said we were gonna talk.
I wouldn't have said that like 4 or 5 years ago. Then I would have said
No.
something like, "I will spend it all on watches and."
Yeah, well, maybe you will do that anyway. We'll see. We'll see how many
I'll-
watches you have on your arm next time I talk to you.
Yeah. I'll try to get back to like the 19-year-old me. He was much more fun. He was exactly what badminton needed.
Yeah.
But I have turned into like you or something. Super boring.
Just much better though. But
I'm sorry about it.
I think we should wrap it up, Hannes. We've been on for 45 minutes. That's what you said we should do. So
let's do it.
I'll just say again, it was a pleasure talking to a Super 1000 champion, and congrats once again. I'm super proud of you, and you really deserve it.
Thank you, my friend. It was very nice to get to do an episode. And let's do our absolute best to be consistent. I don't want to promise anything because I know that we might not end up succeeding, but
no.
But let's try our best and see if we can make an episode here and there.
Yeah.
I really feel like the TBE audience deserves it.
Yeah, and we will publish this episode tomorrow, so we are recording on Monday, the 15th. And do you know what the 16th of January, what day that is? Tomorrow when we're going to release it.
It's your birthday?
It's my birthday. So everyone should congratulate me and not you in the comments below.
Congratulate both of us.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see how many comments we can get. Just saying congrats X to.
That's a deal. That's a deal.
So guys, to everyone watching as well, thank you so much for tuning into the Badminton Experience. Thank you for staying patient. Sorry for our lack of uploading, but we're back here with another episode. I also, on a personal note, want to thank you guys for the amazing support that I have gotten throughout the last week. It's been absolutely amazing. I felt it in the arena while I was playing. I have been feeling it wherever I've been, in the shopping malls and just out for dinner and stuff. So many fans who's really engaged in badminton out here in Malaysia, and it's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much for the support, and I'm looking forward to play in Malaysia again in a few months, actually. With that being said, bye guys.
Bye guys.